My friends, have you ever noticed that even on the quietest day, our minds are rarely quiet? You wake up, and before your feet even touch the floor, a storm begins. Did I do enough yesterday? Will today be any better? We fight invisible battles within us, doubts, comparisons, expectations, and yet we smile as if nothing's wrong. We scroll, we run, we chase, but the one thing we truly need is not out there, it's in here. In the calm corners of our mind, there comes a point in everyone's life when the noise becomes too heavy to carry. You try to find peace in people, in success, in distractions, but nothing truly lasts. Because the peace you seek is not in changing the world around you, it's in learning to silence the world within you. Today, I want to share something very close to my heart: how to end your inner struggles. Not by running away from life, but by living it more consciously, more calmly, more connected to that divine silence within. Let's understand together how to move from days of wondering to days of understanding, how to turn noise into silence, and how to make every day a progress day. Not by perfection, but by presence. Have you ever sat alone in your room, surrounded by complete silence, yet your mind was louder than a crowded street? It's a strange thing how the world outside can be still, but the world within feels like a storm that refuses to calm down. The truth is, the mind is always shouting. It shouts with fear, with doubt, with what ifs, with regrets, with insecurities, and with endless noise about things that may never even happen. And in that noise, we forget that deep within us, beneath all the chaos, there is a quieter, softer voice, the voice of our soul. That voice doesn't shout, it whispers. But only those who learn to silence the noise can truly hear it. Most people go through life reacting to the noise in their minds. A small comment from someone can ruin their day. A comparison on social media can disturb their peace. A missed opportunity can keep them awake at night. The mind keeps shouting, "You're not enough! You should have done better!" Look at them. They're ahead of you. And in that constant shouting, we start believing those voices as truth. We become prisoners of our own thoughts. Yet if you just take one deep breath, close your eyes, and listen a little deeper, you'll hear another voice, calm, patient, and compassionate, saying, "You're doing your best. You're growing. You're learning." That is the whisper of your soul. Imagine you're driving through a busy city. Cars are honking, people are shouting, horns are blaring, and your favorite song starts playing on the radio. You love that song, but the noise outside makes it hard to hear. What do? You don't stop the car. You simply close the windows and turn the volume up just enough to hear the melody. That's exactly what happens inside you every day. The noise of the world is loud, but peace is not the absence of noise. It's the art of tuning into the right sound. It's learning to roll up the windows of your mind and listen to the song of your soul. There's a story of a young man who went to a wise monk and said, "My mind is full of noise. I can't find peace. Please teach me silence." The monk smiled and gave him a bowl of water. "Look at it," he said. The water was shaking and unclear. "This is your mind," the monk continued. "Now let's wait." After a few minutes, as the ripples settled, the water became still, clear enough to see the reflection of the sky. The monk said, "That clarity was always there. You didn't have to create it. You just had to let the noise settle." This is what silence truly means. Not the absence of sound, but the settling of the unnecessary. When you let your worries, doubts, and comparisons settle, your soul's reflection becomes clear. And from that clarity comes wisdom, peace, and understanding. In daily life, it's not easy. You'll wake up with a to-do list that feels impossible. You'll meet people who test your patience. You'll face challenges that make you question your worth. But in those moments, instead of reacting immediately, just pause for a few seconds. That pause is sacred. It's the space where your mind quiets down and your soul gets a chance to speak. When someone criticizes you, your mind might shout, "Defend yourself." But your soul might whisper, "Stay calm, they're projecting their pain." When you fail, your mind might scream, "You're not good enough." But your soul will gently remind you, "You're learning something valuable." The mind shouts because it's afraid. The soul whispers because it's sure. The mind lives in the past and future. The soul lives in the present. The mind focuses on problems. The soul focuses on purpose. When you begin to live from the voice of the soul, your life changes completely. You stop overreacting to every situation. You stop trying to control everything. You begin to respond, not react. You start living from wisdom, not worry. Think of a time when you were about to make a big decision, maybe switching jobs, ending a relationship, or taking a risk. Your mind was probably screaming with 1,000 fears, but deep down, something quiet told you what to do. That quiet knowing, that gut feeling, that calm certainty, that was your soul guiding you. And whenever you followed it, things eventually made sense. Every morning, before the noise of the world begins, sit for a few minutes in stillness. You don't need candles or music or fancy techniques. Just sit, breathe, and observe your thoughts pass by like clouds. The more you watch, the more the noise settles. And as it settles, the whisper becomes clearer. That whisper might tell you to forgive someone, to slow down, to be grateful, or simply to take care of yourself today. Trust that voice, it never misleads you. We often spend our days trying to change others, fix the world, chase achievements, and meet expectations. But true peace begins the moment you start listening to your inner world. The more you listen to that calm, guiding whisper, the more you'll notice your external world becoming peaceful too. Because life doesn't change when everything outside is silent. It changes when you find silence inside everything. So, the next time your mind starts shouting, pause. Don't try to fight it. Just smile and say, "I hear you, but I choose peace." And then listen for the whisper beneath it. That whisper is your compass, your wisdom, your connection to the divine. The more you follow it, the less you'll struggle. The noise may never stop completely, but you learn to walk through it gracefully. With a heart that is still, a mind that is calm, and a soul that is free. You cannot silence the world, but you can train your inner world. The world will always speak. People will always have opinions. Circumstances will always shift. Some days will rise with sunshine, others will begin with storms. You cannot control who speaks about you, who misunderstands you, or who walks away from you. But what you can control is how deeply you allow it to touch your inner peace. The real strength of a person is not in their ability to control what happens outside, but in how gracefully they respond inside. Life is not about perfect surroundings. It's about perfecting your inner response to imperfect situations. Think about it. When someone shouts at you, their words are just sound vibrations. Yet, those words can ruin your mood, steal your calm, and disturb your entire day. Why? Because you let them enter your inner world unfiltered. You didn't build boundaries between your peace and their noise. Training your inner world is not about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming wise enough to decide which battles deserve your energy. Most of the time, We drain ourselves fighting storms that were never meant for us. The world outside is loud, but the noise only becomes unbearable when it finds a home inside your mind. Imagine you're walking through a busy market. People are shouting, bargaining, rushing. The environment is full of chaos. But you're wearing headphones, listening to your favorite calm music. Though the chaos is still around you, it no longer reaches you. That's the power of a trained inner world. When you learn to control your focus, outer chaos loses its authority over your peace. In daily life, people may speak rudely, situations may disappoint you, or plans may not unfold as expected. A trained mind doesn't deny pain, but it doesn't surrender to it either. It feels, it accepts, and then it lets go. You might be working hard in your job, giving your best, yet others may not notice your efforts. The untrained mind screams, "Why can't they see what I'm doing?" The trained mind gently reminds, "I'm doing it for excellence, not for applause." You see, the difference is not in the situation, but in the strength of your inner training. There was once a man who went to a temple to pray every morning. One day, as he prayed silently, another man beside him began chanting loudly, disturbing his peace. Irritated, he looked up and said, "Can you please pray quietly? You're ruining my focus." The other man smiled and replied, "If my prayer can disturb your prayer, then what you are doing is not prayer, it is performance." That simple moment became a lifetime lesson. Real peace is not about external silence, it's about internal steadiness. We cannot expect the world to adjust itself to our emotions. Some people will never understand your kindness. Some will misjudge your silence. Some will test your limits. But every time you choose calmness over reaction, you're training your inner world. Every time you pause instead of exploding, you're polishing your strength. Every time you let go of what you can't control, you're building your spiritual muscles. Inner training is like going to a gym for the soul. The more you practice awareness, the stronger your peace becomes. We often think we need to fix everything outside to feel okay inside. But no matter how hard you try, there will always be noise somewhere. You might move to a quieter place, but even there, your mind may create its own noise of worries, memories, and fears. That's why true peace doesn't come from changing your location. It comes from transforming your perception. When you accept that the outer world will always fluctuate, but your inner world can remain stable, you begin to live in freedom. Training your inner world starts with observation. Watch how your mind reacts when something unexpected happens. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Does your temper rise instantly? You receive criticism at work. Do you replay it in your head all night? These moments are not punishments, they are practice sessions. They show you how far you've come and where you need to grow. The next time such a situation comes, take a deep breath. Don't respond from habit. Respond from awareness. That pause is where your strength lies. When you stop expecting the world to always be gentle, you stop being disappointed. You realize that every challenge is a teacher and every irritation is an invitation to grow. The rude colleague teaches you patience. The traffic jam teaches you acceptance. The delay teaches you surrender. Every event is shaping your inner landscape, preparing you to stay peaceful amidst chaos. There's a beautiful quote that says, "You can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass." Training your inner world means learning to be that calm. Life's storms may shake the trees, but the roots that go deep remain unmoved. When you deepen your connection to your soul, outer winds cannot uproot you. You learn to flow through life like a river, strong, steady, and silent beneath the surface. So, when the world grows noisy, when people argue, when plans fail, when judgments rise, remind yourself, I cannot silence the world, but I can train my mind not to absorb its noise. I can choose my peace over their opinions. I can choose my calm over their chaos. The more you practice this, the more you realize that peace is not something you find, it's something you build from within every single day. The world will keep changing, sometimes fair, sometimes unfair, but your inner world can remain unshaken if you train it to stay aligned with peace, compassion, and purpose. When you master your inner responses, you no longer beg the world to be kind, because kindness starts within you. You no longer chase peace, because peace walks beside you. You no longer fear chaos, because your calm becomes stronger than any storm. That is the power of a trained inner world. It turns every noise into a lesson and every struggle into strength. Don't chase calmness, practice returning to it. Many people spend their entire lives searching for peace as if it's a treasure buried somewhere in the world, hidden behind success, relationships, achievements, or travels. They keep saying, once I get that job, I'll finally relax. Or once this problem is solved, I'll be happy. But peace isn't something you chase, it's something you cultivate moment by moment within yourself. The truth is, calmness was always yours. You were born with it. A child doesn't need to meditate to smile. They are naturally at ease, naturally joyful, naturally present. But as we grow, layers of expectations, fears, and pressures cover that calmness. Life doesn't take our peace away. We simply forget how to return to it. The problem is not that peace is missing, it's that we've forgotten the path back to it. Every time something goes wrong, an argument, a disappointment, a setback, we lose ourselves in reaction. We chase calmness by trying to fix everything outside. We think, if only that person understood me, or if only life became easier, then I'd be peaceful again. But external calm is fragile. The real calm is the one you carry inside, the one that doesn't break even when everything around you falls apart. Imagine the surface of the ocean during a storm. The waves are wild, crashing, and chaotic. But if you dive deep enough, you'll find complete stillness. The deeper you go, the quieter it gets. That's exactly how our inner world works. The surface of life, the noise, the chaos, the emotions will always move. But if you learn to dive within, you'll find a peace that no storm can touch. The art of living is not in chasing still waters outside, but in remembering how to dive deep inside when the waves rise. In daily life, calmness is tested the most in small, ordinary moments. You wake up late and rush to work. The traffic is bad. Someone cuts you off, you feel your irritation growing. In that moment, the mind starts shouting, "Why does this always happen to me?" And your peace disappears. But if you just pause, take a slow breath, and remind yourself, this moment will pass. Getting angry won't make traffic move faster. You instantly reclaim your calm. You didn't find peace in the situation, you return to it within yourself. It's the same with people. Someone says something hurtful, and your heart burns to respond to prove yourself right. But if you step back and say, their words are a reflection of their state, not mine, you protect your calmness. It's not that you don't care, it's that you care more about your inner stability than outer noise. The most powerful person is not the one who controls others, but the one who controls their own energy in any environment. We often think calmness means not feeling anything, but that's not true. Calmness doesn't mean you don't experience anger, sadness, or stress. It means you can feel them without letting them consume you. It's like watching rain from inside your home. You see it, you feel its presence, but you stay dry. Practicing calmness is learning to stay in that inner shelter, no matter how heavy the rain outside. There's a beautiful practice some monks use. When disturbed or angry, they simply whisper to themselves, "Return." That one word reminds them to come back to their center. You can use this too. When life becomes overwhelming, when someone frustrates you, when your mind begins to overthink, just pause and say softly to yourself, "Return." Return to your breath. Return to your awareness. Return to the present moment. Because in that return, peace quietly reappears. The truth is, peace doesn't leave you. You leave peace. And every time you choose to pause, to breathe, to observe, you walk back home to it. Think about how you react when your phone battery gets low. You don't throw the phone away, you plug it in to recharge. Similarly, when your peace runs low, don't panic. Don't chase calmness from the world. Just plug yourself back into stillness through silence, prayer, reflection, or gratitude. Even 5 minutes of conscious breathing can recharge your spirit. One of the most common illusions of life is that we can find peace once everything is perfect. But life is never perfectly calm. Even when things go right, the mind finds something else to worry about. True calmness is not the absence of challenges, but the presence of awareness amidst them. When you stop chasing calmness as a destination and start practicing it as a daily discipline, you discover something profound. Peace was never missing, you were simply distracted. You might have noticed how peaceful nature is. The trees don't rush. The river doesn't argue about its path. The sun doesn't compare its light with the stars. They just exist in perfect rhythm with creation. When you align yourself with that natural rhythm, when you let go of resistance, slow down your thoughts, and trust the process, calmness flows naturally. You stop forcing life to move your way and start flowing with the way life moves. Every moment gives you two choices: react or return. Reaction keeps you in the noise, returning brings you back to the center. The more you practice returning, the stronger your calmness becomes. At first, it may take minutes to recover from anger or disappointment. Then, with practice, it takes seconds. Eventually, you reach a state where nothing outside can pull you away from your peace for long. That's mastery, not perfection, but presence. So don't chase calmness as if it's running away from you. It's not hiding in some future moment. It's sitting silently inside you right now. You just need to remember to return to it again and again until it becomes your natural state. When life shakes you, return. When people hurt you, return. When your mind overwhelms you, return. Because every time you do, you grow stronger, wiser, and freer. Calmness isn't something you achieve one day, it's something you practice every day until it becomes who you are. Your peace is your personal responsibility, not anyone else's gift. Too often, we hand over the keys of our peace to people and situations that were never meant to guard it. We let others decide how we should feel, how happy we should be, and how worthy we are. When people praise us, we glow. When they criticize us, we crumble. When life goes our way, we are peaceful. When it doesn't, we become restless. But true peace begins the day you realize that no one else is responsible for your inner state, only you are. Peace is not something you receive, it's something you protect. Imagine for a moment you're holding a beautiful glass of clear water. It's pure, calm, and still. Now, if you hand it over to someone else and they shake it, Whose fault is it that the water is disturbed, theirs or yours? You gave them the power to shake it. That's what we do with our peace every day. We hand it over to people's words, moods, and opinions, and when they shake it, we blame them for disturbing us. But the truth is, peace cannot be taken from you unless you hand it over. In daily life, there are endless opportunities to lose your calm. Someone says something rude, a friend doesn't keep their promise, traffic tests your patience, or an unexpected challenge arises. The untrained mind reacts instantly. You made me angry, or you ruined my day, but no one can truly make you angry. They can only offer you a reason. The reaction is still yours. Taking responsibility for your peace means realizing that while you can't control what people do, you can always control how you respond. It's easy to stay peaceful when everything goes right, but real growth happens when you learn to stay peaceful even when things go wrong. You see, peace is not tested in comfort, it's proven in chaos. A calm sea doesn't make a skilled sailor. Similarly, a peaceful person is not someone who avoids storms, but someone who learns how to stand still in the middle of them. When you take ownership of your peace, you no longer wait for perfect conditions, you create calmness within imperfect ones. There's a story of a young woman who complained to her mentor, "People at my workplace are so negative. They drain my energy every day." The mentor smiled and handed her a glass of water. "Add a spoon of salt," he said. She did, and he asked her to drink. She made a face, "It's bitter." Then he took her to a nearby lake, asked her to pour the same spoon of salt into it, and take a sip from the lake. "How does it taste?" he asked. "Fresh," she replied. "That's because," he said, "the bitterness didn't change, but your capacity did." This is what happens when you take responsibility for your peace. You stop trying to control the bitterness of the world and instead expand your inner lake. The salt will always be there: negativity, unfairness, misunderstandings, but they lose their power when your heart becomes vast enough to absorb them. Taking responsibility for your peace doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means facing life consciously, knowing that reacting with chaos only adds more chaos. It means choosing peace not because life is easy, but because peace helps you see clearly even when life is not. It's easy to blame others for your stress, your boss, your partner, your family, your environment. But every time you blame, you weaken your power. And every time you take responsibility, you strengthen your soul. Think about the moments when someone tried to provoke you, and you chose silence instead of argument. Didn't you feel lighter afterward? That was peace protected. Or when you faced a setback, and instead of panicking, you said to yourself, "This too shall pass." Didn't that calm your heart? That's peace created. Each of these small acts is a declaration that your emotions belong to you, not to anyone else. Sometimes people might mistake your calmness for weakness. But peace is not passive, it's powerful. It takes more strength to remain composed than to react impulsively. Anyone can shout, but only a few can stay centered. Anyone can blame, but only a few can rise above. The world might not understand your calm, but your soul will. Because when you stop depending on others to make you feel peaceful, you become unshakable. One of the biggest illusions we carry is believing that if people change, we'll be happy. But peace doesn't wait for perfect people, it grows in imperfect situations. If someone disrespects you, you can choose to protect your peace by responding with dignity instead of anger. If life delays your dreams, you can protect your peace by trusting divine timing. instead of forcing outcomes. You cannot always choose what happens, but you can always choose how to hold your heart through it. When you take responsibility for your peace, you stop seeking it through validation or control. You start finding it in surrender, acceptance, and understanding. You begin to see that not every battle is worth fighting, not every opinion deserves your attention, and not every storm requires your reaction. You stop letting temporary emotions destroy permanent harmony. So, whenever you feel disturbed, pause and ask yourself, who am I giving my peace to right now? Is it that comment on social media, that argument, that delay, that disappointment? And if you find that you've handed it away, simply take it back. Protect it. Nurture it. Guard it like the most precious treasure, because it is. Your peace is your responsibility. It's your daily practice, your sacred discipline, your lifelong companion. The moment you stop waiting for others to maintain it and start taking ownership of it, you become truly free. Because peace that depends on the world is temporary, but peace that comes from within is eternal. And when you master that inner peace, the world no longer controls your mood. You control how you move through the world. You become the calm in the storm, the stillness amidst movement, the light in the noise. And that, my friend, is where real freedom begins. The art of doing less but living more is one of the greatest secrets of a peaceful and fulfilling life. We live in a world that constantly glorifies being busy. Everywhere you look, people are running, planning, scheduling, multitasking, and constantly racing against time. Success is often measured by how much we do, not how deeply we live. But if you observe closely, you'll see that this endless chase for more leaves most people exhausted, not accomplished. We end up with full calendars but empty hearts, long to-do lists but no time for peace, many contacts, but few true connections. The real art of life is not to fill every moment with activity, but to fill every activity with awareness. Doing less doesn't mean being lazy, it means doing what truly matters with presence, purpose, and peace. Think about how many times you've said, I'm too busy to rest, too busy to meet loved ones, too busy to reflect, too busy to live. Business has become a badge of honor, but it often hides inner emptiness. The more we fill our schedules, the more we empty our souls. Doing less is not about neglecting your responsibilities. It's about giving space for your spirit to breathe. It's about choosing quality over quantity in everything. Work, conversations, goals, and even thoughts. There's a story of a fisherman who was sitting by the seashore, enjoying the sunset after catching enough fish for the day. A businessman walking by saw him and asked, "Why don't you fish more? You could sell the extra fish, earn more money, buy a bigger boat, and expand your business." The fisherman smiled and said, "And then what?" The businessman replied, "Then you could retire and spend your days relaxing by the sea." The fisherman laughed gently. "That's what I'm doing right now." This story reminds us that sometimes we're chasing what we already have: peace, contentment, and joy, but we're too busy running to notice it. In daily life, doing less means learning to slow down. It means giving your full attention to one thing at a time. When you eat, just eat. Taste every bite. Feel gratitude for the food. When you talk to someone, just talk. Listen with your heart, not your phone. When you work, just work, without the noise of multitasking. When you rest, truly rest, without guilt or distraction. The richness of life doesn't come from doing many things, it comes from doing one thing deeply. Most people mistake movement for progress. But you can run all day on a treadmill and still be in the same place. Real progress happens when your actions align with your inner purpose. Doing less helps you identify what's truly important. And when you focus your energy on the essential, your life becomes more meaningful and peaceful. You start to value moments over minutes, peace over pace, depth over display. It's not the number of things we do that gives life meaning, but the mindfulness with which we do them. The world teaches us to add more goals, more possessions, more achievements. But the soul finds joy in subtraction. Remove the unnecessary, and the essential begins to shine. When you simplify your day, you'll notice a quiet strength emerging within you. The chaos outside may continue, but your inner world becomes still, clear, and centered. In today's digital age, we often confuse connection with communication. We spend hours online, but still feel lonely. We achieve targets but feel tired. We win arguments but lose peace. The art of doing less but living more invites you to step back and ask, am I busy or am I fulfilled? There's a big difference. Busy people run after time, fulfilled people flow with it. Busy people chase everything, peaceful people choose what matters. When you start practicing this art, you begin to see beauty in small things: the sound of rain, a deep conversation, a quiet morning, a slow walk, the warmth of tea in your hands. You realize that happiness was never in achieving the extraordinary, but in appreciating the ordinary. You start to live not in a rush, but in rhythm. You stop counting hours and start feeling moments. You learn that rest is not a waste of time, it's a way to recharge your soul so you can live meaningfully again. Life has a simple rule: the more you slow down inside, the faster you grow in peace. The world outside will always demand more of you: more performance, more output, more productivity, but your heart will quietly whisper, I just want to be. Listen to that whisper. Because when you live every moment fully, you realize that less is not lack, less is luxury. It's a luxury to wake up unhurried, to eat without distraction, to walk without rush, to breathe without worry. There's a calm wisdom that comes when you stop competing with time and start cooperating with it. You begin to understand that life is not a race, it's a rhythm. Every breath, every sunrise, every pause has its own divine timing. Doing less doesn't make you fall behind, it allows you to move forward with clarity. Because when your mind is quiet, your actions become powerful. When your heart is still, your energy becomes focused. When your schedule is simple, your soul becomes rich. So take a deep breath and allow yourself to do less today. Not because you're lazy, but because you want to live more. Say no to what drains your energy and yes to what nourishes your soul. Protect your time like it's sacred, because it is. Don't let business rob you of the beauty of the present moment. Because at the end of the day, life won't ask how much you did, it will ask how well you lived. And when you can smile and say, I lived fully, deeply, and peacefully, that's when you'll know you mastered the art of doing less, but living infinitely more. Every moment in life gives us two choices: to react or to respond. A reaction is quick, impulsive, and often driven by ego or emotion, while a response is calm, thoughtful, and rooted in awareness. The difference may sound small, but this single difference decides whether your day ends in peace or regret. Most people live in the habit of reacting to people, to situations, to words, to traffic, even to their own thoughts. You see, the world will always have something to trigger you. Someone will misunderstand you. Something won't go as planned. A person you trust may disappoint you. But the power lies not in controlling the outside world, it lies in mastering the world within. That's where true peace begins. Think about a simple example. You're driving and someone cuts you off in traffic. Instantly, your mind fills with anger. Your heartbeat rises, your hands tighten on the steering wheel, and in a few seconds, you've already reacted, maybe even shouted. But if you pause for just one mindful moment, you realize that the person who cut you off has probably gone ahead and forgotten the incident, while you are the one still carrying the burden of anger. That's the thing about reactions. They burn your inner peace while changing absolutely nothing outside. A reaction is a reflex of the ego. It says, "How dare they?" A response, on the other hand, is the voice of your higher self that says, "Maybe they are in a hurry. Maybe I don't need to waste my calm on this." When you live with this awareness, life stops feeling like a battlefield and begins to feel like a classroom. Every moment becomes a lesson in self-control. Every challenge becomes a teacher, and every irritation becomes an invitation to grow stronger from within. Let's take another real-life moment. Imagine someone criticizing you unfairly. The first instinct is to defend, argue, prove yourself right. But ask yourself, what's the purpose? If their words come from misunderstanding, anger will only deepen the distance. But silence and calm understanding can often heal it faster than words. When you choose to respond instead of react, you're not being weak. You're being wise. You're protecting your inner energy from being wasted in unnecessary emotional wars. The greatest strength is not in shouting the loudest, but in remaining calm when others lose their calm. It's not about suppressing your emotions, but about understanding them so deeply that they no longer control you. The wise do not run away from their emotions. They observe them, breathe through them, and decide consciously how to act. That's the art of response. A slow, deliberate choice born out of awareness, not impulse. Sometimes, even in relationships, reactions create wounds that take years to heal. One word said in anger, one message sent without thinking, it can destroy the peace of both hearts. But a calm pause, a gentle word, or even silent listening can transform tension into understanding. We often underestimate how powerful our stillness can be. People may forget what we say, but they always remember how they felt in our presence. If our energy is peaceful, it silently heals others too. Life is full of unpredictable moments. You can't control who offends you, who misunderstands you, or what situation arises tomorrow. But you can control one thing: how you choose to deal with it. A calm response is not a reaction to the world. It's a reflection of your connection with the divine. It shows that your peace is not dependent on people's moods or the day's chaos, but anchored in something much deeper: your inner awareness. When you learn to respond calmly, you become like a lake. No matter how many stones are thrown into it, the ripples eventually fade, and the water returns to stillness. That stillness doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is happening, but under control. The waves may rise for a moment, but the depth of peace remains untouched. That's what a spiritual life truly means: to face the noise of life without letting it disturb the music of your soul. So next time life tests your patience, when someone cuts you off, criticizes you, or disappoints you, take a deep breath before reacting. Feel the space between what happened and what you are about to do. That space is your power. That moment of pause is where wisdom lives. The more you expand that space, the more you grow. You see, reactions belong to the mind, but responses come from the soul. The mind wants to win arguments. The soul wants to preserve peace. The mind shouts, "Prove them wrong." The soul whispers, "Stay centered." The mind looks for control, the soul looks for understanding. And when you choose the whisper over the noise, you rise above the chaos of daily life. You become peaceful not because the world is calm, but because you are. That's the secret. Every reaction is a choice. Every situation gives you two roads, one that leads to inner turbulence and one that leads to inner tranquility. Choose wisely. Because the more you practice responding rather than reacting, the quieter your inner world becomes. And when the inner world becomes quiet, even the loudest chaos of the outside world cannot disturb you. That's when you finally taste peace. Not the temporary peace of silence around you, but the eternal peace of silence within you.